Hello, everybody, and welcome to another My Music. I hope you're comfortable wherever you are, whatever it is that you're doing. In a minute, I'm going to be speaking to my guest today, whose name you might be thinking, I don't know how to pronounce that. And we've just had that whole conversation. So Jewelia or Julia, depends which way you want to go with that. And we may have a poll on it later. Will be talking to me very soon, straight after this video from Analog Trash. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hi, thank you for having me.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. So, I mean, let's start with the name. It's a great name. I loved it. I mean, the thing is, it looks so different as a name as well, and you've got the name Jewel in there.
Well, I chose it when I was 14, so it might not be like the best choice now after so many years, but I'm kind of stuck with it.
Yeah, you're stuck with it. Is that when you first started making music, getting your own music out there? 14?
Yes, I actually started uploading on MySpace. Gosh.
No.
Yes.
There will be youngsters that are listening to this that can't even remember.
What is that?
Yeah.
It was back then you had MySpace and Last.fm was a big thing as well.
Yeah. Wow, it was and that was an incredibly slow process as well because upload speeds were ridiculously slow.
Yeah. Well, actually, I grew up in Romania, and one of the good things about that country is apparently we have the fastest internet speed in Europe. So
really, wow.
I mean, there are lots of disadvantages as well, but at least we have good internet.
Yeah. Well, there's great swathes of poverty in bits of Romania, aren't there? But at the same time, fast internet speed. Perhaps we should all move to Romania. Certainly, the internet is being pretty rubbish at the moment in Great Britain. I'm tempting fate by saying that because it's probably going to go awfully wrong now that I've said that today.
Oh, gosh. I was doing a live stream for my Kickstarter backers. It was like an exclusive preview of the album, and it kept glitching, so it was on YouTube as well. Yeah. It was very strange because it was only in the UK, and other people were like, I'm watching this from Mexico and it's perfectly fine. And then I found out that actually YouTube was having a bad day in UK.
Yeah, entirely that. I do this all of the time with not just with music, but with different things. And strangely, I've had days where I'm talking to someone in the UK doing an interview, and it's been absolute rubbish in terms of the internet. And the same day, I'll have a transatlantic interview, and it will be fine. All be absolutely lovely. No one can die. I love your lighting going on in the background there as well. It's almost like a sensory room that feels going on.
It's just there are a couple of tiny disco balls in the background. I'm still doing it, but I haven't had a lot of time for it recently. Twitch streaming, so I set up the lighting for that.
What are you streaming on Twitch? Are you streaming your music, or are you talking about your music, or are you doing gaming?
No, I don't really game that much, and I'm not that good at talking, as you will find out, or hopefully not find out.
Perfectly. What are you on about?
But no, I sing. So I have a list of the songs that I can do, and people can put in requests, and it's quite fun. Again, I was streaming a lot during the Kickstarter campaign, and I did this crazy 12-hour stream. It kind of started as a way to gather people's attention. I was trying to see if I can sing 100 songs on the stream.
What?
I didn't actually think
crazy.
I would. I just thought it would be a really cool title, attempting to sing 100 songs. And then when I got about halfway, I was like, okay, now I have to keep going. And then we got to 70, and then we actually did the whole 100. My mom was on the chat, and she was like, Julia, you have to stop. You're not gonna have a voice. This is
Oh, I do
crazy.
love that. Do you know what? I love marathon type things. I've always kind of loved marathon type things. I've always been interested in sort of like marathon radio shows, etc. Have you always like that? If like a DJ's done like a marathon show and they've done like, maybe for charity and whatever, and they've done like 3 days without stopping on radio. It's hard work.
Yeah,
Incredibly hard work. You just feel your body kind of. I've been involved in things like that in the past. You feel your body kind of shutting down on you, but your mouth has to just keep going.
Yeah, I definitely had the point where I was feeling really tired, but after that you get like a massive
second wind.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, obviously the people being in the chat and supporting me was a big factor in
brilliant.
being able to
Well, if you ever do it again, you should do it for charity. Definitely. I know, I think people would support you. You could raise a lot of money for that. What was the most popular song when you've been twitching and people have been asking you to play something? What's the most popular request?
I've sang many times Jar of Hearts, Christina Perri.
Really?
And then I think Human, The Killers.
Really?
What else? Radioactive.
Yeah. What's your favorite one to sing of other people's?
I can't remember actually. I think I like Human. That's one that gets played a lot because I choose it, to be honest.
Yeah. So it's quite interesting picking up a song that's a male vocal, although his range is quite wide. So it's
Yeah, I don't know why. Whenever I did covers, I usually went for male singers because I find it really hard to compete. Like, you have to make a really different version to not kind of be compared directly with the singer. But when you're covering something sung by a male singer, then it's already different just through that mere fact. So yeah.
You've got a real lovely pop sensibility to you in terms of the music that you produce. Where does that come from? Have you always loved pop music? Are you a pop music fan from a young age?
Let's see. First band that I ever was into. No, actually, the first band that I played in was trying to be a pop punk band. So it was the 2000s. It was all the Avril Lavigne, Blink 182, Simple Plan, that kind of stuff. No, I was actually quite a lot into rock music. Also, I feel like people are a lot more forgiving about music tastes nowadays. So you can basically play whatever you want. There's not as much judgment. Whereas I remember that when I was younger, pop music was really uncool to like, at least in my circle of friends. So I would have been embarrassed to say I like pop music or I make pop music. And now I feel like I'm not embarrassed anymore. I'm embracing it and just having fun with it.
I think pop music's come around again in terms of being accepted. I mean, well, in fact, I say that, but then, do you know what? I think that there's always been great pop music, and that's always been accepted. And then I think there's been rubbish pop music throughout the years, which has just sullied the waters. But then that's the same within any kind of genre, and it's always difficult to know what is pop music as well. Anyway,
exactly.
Who's kind of influencing you at the moment in terms of sound or production or whatever? So
I like Marina a lot. I mean, I've been liking her for a while. Ali X, Scott. Don't know if you know her music. She's from one of the Nordic countries. I cannot remember which one. What else do I listen? I listen to a lot of. I don't have like a particularly favorite artist at the moment. I just listen to a lot of Spotify,
Yeah.
whatever is recommended.
What do you like at listening yourself? Do you kind of intensely listen to albums? Do you listen all the way through to an artist catalogue, or are you a bit of a, oh yeah, I like that song, and then try and find another one? Are you a bit of a
bit of both, I think.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I think I only listen to albums if I really like the music or the artist.
Yeah.
So
what would it be? What would it be about an artist that would actually get you to stop and listen to a whole album's worth?
It needs to feel a little bit different. I like a lot of emotion, so people not being embarrassed to be a little bit dramatic, if you want. I like voices that don't sound like every other voice on the new generation Spotify playlist.
Oh, I'm totally with you there. A voice is really, really important, I think, in all of that. How do you go about actually constructing your music? How do you start to write?
So I think I have two different main processes. Sometimes I write at the piano, so I just come up with some chords and some lyrics, and then I go and try to do an arrangement and to figure out what kind of genre I want it to be, what sounds I want. And other times I'm actually sitting in the studio and starting with an arrangement. It can be like almost the whole instrumental done, and then I write it.
Wow.
Kind of like a top liner would write on top of the backing track.
Yeah. No, absolutely. What pushes you to try different stuff as an artist?
I don't know. I don't like intentionally try to do different things. It's kind of like whatever comes out when I sit down, and it's usually just influenced by whatever I was happening to listen to recently, or sometimes it's just watching a movie and that gives me a vibe and inspires something, or writing a book. I actually have this project that has been on my mind for ages, and I haven't done it yet, but I do want to basically write songs based on books.
Yeah.
So kind of like almost like a book club with a song that comes out at the end.
Oh, so now would you write the book as well, or you would base it on a book that's pre-existing?
No, pre-existing books. Though I did write a book, and I did write an album that goes with the book, but nobody has seen it or heard it. So
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Well, tell us a little bit about that. Go on. You can tease people with it, even though they may never hear it. So what was the book about?
The book is kind of like a bit of an age gap romance. I don't know. It was fun to write at the time, but I think it's more. It kind of belongs on Wattpad. But I think the songs are good though, and I might still do something with them.
Ah, so the book will never see the light of day.
Yeah, who knows? I might rewrite it and make it a bit more grown up.
Well, hey, maybe, yeah, that's a good idea. Or you could actually release it under a pseudonym, and then no one will know it's you.
That's a good idea, actually.
Yeah, you could just let that go. Talk to me about Invisible Wall. What was the sort of inspiration behind that track?
So Invisible Wall is a bit of an odd one out in terms of this album that I am currently promoting, that is coming out on the 19th of April. And this song is actually the first track on the album. And it's the only one that wasn't written recently, so it actually dates from about 2017.
Wow, I mean that's a while back.
Yes, like all the other songs are within the past couple of years. And I never did anything with it. It was kind of just sitting in the vault, because at the time I was writing my first album, which is also on Spotify and all the other platforms. It's called City of My Mind, and it's a lot different in vibes compared to this album. I was really into chamber pop and art pop around that time, and I also had access to a lot of like orchestral players. So there's a lot of that on the album. There's actually one of the songs has a full orchestra on it. some of the songs are a bit like psychedelic. It's really it's interesting, but very different to what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
So Invisible Wall was written at the same time, but it didn't fit at all with that other album. So I just put it on a shelf and waited for a more suitable time. And then when I had all the tracks for this album, I was struggling to find the correct order. I didn't know what to start with. And then I kind of remembered this song, and it just slotted in perfectly. It's got that kind of nice opening intro, and it's all about punching the invisible wall, and there's actually a lot of punching in other songs and in the music videos. It's all kind of I don't know, sports metaphors to kind of represent how we are all competing in this game of life.
I loved when you said punchy just then. You kind of got quite animated. Are you feeling quite angry at the moment, or you? I mean, do you want to tell us something?
Do you mean like right now?
Yeah.
No. Do I come across as that? No. I'm just maybe a bit nervous. That's all.
Yeah. What's the overall sort of what's the overall sort of theme to the album? Is there a collective theme to it, or is there something that runs through it apart from the punching?
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't go as far as to say that it's a concept album, but there's definitely a theme that ties all the songs together. So it's basically about self-acceptance in the face of expectations from society, from ourselves. We always get told that we can achieve anything if only we try hard enough, or if we want it hard enough. And
which is actually a hard message, isn't it?
Yeah, really? I mean, that's, that can be taken as, whoa, this is so inspirational, but actually it just flips the narrative and puts the whole responsibility on us. So if you're not where you want to be, it means that you didn't want it hard enough. You didn't work. You didn't try hard enough. And I think that's not true, and that can be very, very damaging for one's mental health. And obviously, we do not all have the same situation, don't have the same, I don't know, privilege or start in life or mental health or what have you.
I hear that, and I mean, because I've had a number of people on here that talk about, because it's a very kind of popular thing to talk about these days, like manifesting things and whatever. Now, as much as I'm very pleased for anyone that's, in that headspace and feels they can manifest anything to happen, I guess it does leave a lot of people thinking, well, why isn't it happening for me? If it isn't happening.
Do you know what? I actually had people tell me, like quite close people, oh, it's not happening because you're not thinking positively enough. You must not be thinking about it the right way.
Yeah.
It's just, why is it always our fault? It doesn't have to be anyone's fault. It's just life, So I guess the album is called Little Wins because I tried to shift the view from getting to that, I don't know, whatever goal we have, to thinking about the journey and kind of comparing to where we started and learning to acknowledge that we all have limitations, but we also achieve certain things and we should be proud of them. And we should learn to accept our limits and celebrate our little wins.
Oh, I think that's such a great way of looking at things, to be honest. I
mean, I am preaching it. It doesn't mean that I'm kind of working on it myself too.
Yeah. Well, but as someone that's, immeasurably older than you, when you get to this stage in life, I think actually it's very easy to kind of like look back and go, didn't achieve this and didn't achieve that. But looking at things and thinking, well, actually, I did make that happen, or I did make this happen. And ultimately, most of life comes back down to sort of relationships, really, and community, and making things happen within the community, really. And that it might be that actually you have a massive impact on 2 or 3 people, and that's possibly enough. You know,
I mean,
does
that's more than nothing.
yeah.
It shouldn't be discounted as nothing. That's my
No.
point. Yeah, so there are some songs, like one is actually called The Best We Can, and even the last song on the album is called The Comfort of Falling, and the very last line of the whole album is if I do it all again and we do the best we can, so it kind of comes back around. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that many times we find ourselves feeling bad or beating ourselves up for something that happened and thinking, oh, I could have done that, or I should have done more. And this always comes in hindsight with the knowledge that we have now. So obviously we didn't try to fail on purpose. So we did the best we could at that moment in time with the knowledge we had, with the resource we had. We actually, I like to think that we do the best we can every moment of our lives.
I think that's very sensible.
If we could have done more, we would have done it. Simple.
Yeah. I think for me, the most important thing, and maybe kind of the lesson that I've really learned in the last few years, is the most important thing is to try. I don't actually think it's necessarily about the goal. I think the important thing is to try and just do stuff, and actually not be scared of doing stuff and it being rubbish either.
Because, yeah, that's a good point. Very good point.
You know, because ultimately, I think until you start doing something, you don't get better.
That's true.
You know?
Yeah, and that is, I realize that maybe I sound like I'm advocating for failure or mediocrity or whatever, but
yeah,
it's not. I just don't want people to feel bad about themselves.
Oh yeah, I think you don't want people to kind of put an unnecessary, pressure on themselves to succeed or succeed in society's eyes. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's success to go through the journey. If you,
I think, yeah, as long as we have some kind of temperance in everything.
Yeah,
I think balance. That's the answer. Even all this kind of positive thinking about you should be the best version of yourself. I think that's amazing, and I do try to do that. At the same time, when does this end? How do you judge the best version of yourself? Do you constantly? You need to sometimes stop and look at yourself and be like, hey, I'm actually doing pretty well. Just like a little pat on the back, and then we can continue to improve. But we can't just always chase this perfection. And
do you know what? I think there's going to be a lot of people that listen to this interview that are then going to go, thank God for that. Thank goodness that somebody's actually written an album like that. So it's good.
Yeah.
Hopefully if you're listening and this story resonates with you and you think, yeah, thank goodness somebody's championing people being people and allowing people to be what we all are, which is human. Because ultimately nobody is superhuman. I think, do you feel like sometimes it's social media and all of this stuff that we're doing now, but that kind of
definitely.
Causes the problem?
Definitely. It's there's a lot of unrealistic expectation, and I think social media can be a really good tool, but again, you need to have a balance. I try not to be on social media more than I need to. You'll never find me just scrolling endlessly. It's just not something I do, and I think looking around, I see a lot of people who get so engrossed that they kind of lose track of real life. And there are other things that you can do. You can read a book, or I don't know, go on a podcast.
go on the podcast. Well, you know, it's good. It's good to come and have a discussion with proper, you know, human being, isn't it? Rather than just the algorithm. What's your favourite thing to do away from music? What's the best thing for you to find headspace?
I think probably reading. That's what I find most relaxing at the moment.
Do you have a favourite place that you would go to that kind of gets you away from it all?
Not really. I just I don't have a lot of spare time, so I kind of read when I find a bit of like dead time, like I don't know, commuting, or sometimes even I'm having my breakfast and I'm reading, like that kind of.
I've got to ask you, have you ever done this? Because you mentioned commuting and reading a book. Now, I used to commute. I don't commute at all really these days, but I used to do about 80,000 miles a year, and I used to use trains, planes, automobiles, the whole lot. And I have done this from time to time, which I've got so engrossed in a book on a train that I've missed my stop, and then suddenly realised that. Have you ever done it?
Yeah.
Hey.
I don't do it as much these days, but when I was in Romania, I did it a lot because I used to take the tube every day and just forgot to get off on my stop.
It's annoying but refreshing at the same time, I feel. You know, you kind of almost think, well, do you know what? That's happened. And I was so engrossed in this book that I didn't actually realize that the rest of life had gone on behind me. And if I'm late, I'm late. You know, again, c'est la vie. It's what will be will be. So the album's out. The album's out very soon now. What have you got left? What have you got? Oh, she's going, oh yeah. Don't remind me. What have you got left to do before the album's out?
Oh my god.
Everything.
6 weeks. Okay. So I have a whole music video to film.
Whoa.
I literally had my first band practice for the album launch yesterday.
Yeah. Have you got a crew, by the way, for the film? Have you got like a director? Have you got everyone for that? Or are you self-producing? Or
I don't know if you've seen any of the music videos that I have on my YouTube. So basically every single one is just me and Andy, who's my partner. He also plays music with me. So yeah, even the latest music video for Invisible Wall, that actually features us both. He's playing drums and I'm doing other things. And it's quite funny because we basically had to film each other. And then there's this bit where we're both together, but we did do it separately and then kind of put it all together.
Oh, you did it separately and put it together? Yeah, you didn't stop a passing person and say, by the way, could you just stand here for an hour and just record us, you know?
No, I remember we did this video a few years ago.
Yeah.
The song is called This Love Song is Better Left Unsung, a bit of a long title. Anyways, it's a really fun video with he's dressed up as a robot. It's like this kind of yellow made up costume that we did.
Love it.
And there's a lot of stuff happening, and we are both of us in the video in many scenes. And it was such a pain to film because again it was the two of us, so we had to kind of set the camera and then go do the scene and then look back and like, oh, your head is not in it, or like we had to do many times. But yeah, it's good. It keeps cost low, and
it does. But I'll tell you what,
it's not just that. Yeah, I get to do a lot of videos. Simple.
Yeah, true. But listen, if anybody's watching and you're sort of like a film student or whatever, and you've got spare time, whereabouts are you in the world? Are you sort of London based or what?
Yeah, South London.
South London. If you're South London based, you know, and you're maybe at BIM or something like that, and you've got a spare hour to come and help, you know, maybe in a scene where they actually need the camera held, you could go and do it. Just saying, you know, but it'd be free. I mean, you might get a cup of tea or something, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely open to having other people help. It's just,
yeah,
I find it's a lot easier to organize things when you don't have a lot of people to coordinate.
And so the album, is it all recorded? And is it just waiting for mastering, or is it?
No, it's all finished.
You've done all the mastering. Yeah, cool.
I even have this. I was waiting for it for absolute ages. but
wow,
arrived.
look at that.
Yeah.
Hey, you really are punching.
Yes. Oh yeah, on the back.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and I've got CDs and cassettes as well for some reason. I just thought they were cool, and I made some.
Do you know people are buying cassettes though, aren't they?
I did notice. Yeah, I see
Yeah.
lots of people sharing cassettes. So
People send me cassettes. I actually had to go and buy a really old sound system because people kept sending me cassettes to listen to, and it was like, I haven't got a cassette player, but people were sending them. So
yeah, I don't have one either.
Yeah, well, I went and bought one. I went and bought and you know, go on eBay. It's the way to go, right? I just went and bought a decent 90. It's actually from the 1980s sound system for about £40.
Cool.
There you go.
Funny because I actually don't have a record player either.
Oh, don't you?
No. So I was in a pickle when I got my test pressings and I had nowhere to listen to. I was trying to find friends to go and listen to it, and
you know what you should have done? You should have
yeah.
gone down some local record shops and gone, actually, could I just listen to a test pressing of my album on this? Oh, and by the way, do you want to stock it? You know?
That's nice. Yeah, that's a good point. I did go to the record store.
Yeah.
So first I actually bought a really cheap one from Amazon. I listened, it was sounding horrible. I panicked. I was like, oh my god, there's no way, this is so bad. But then I listened to Ed Sheeran on vinyl as well, and it sounded just as bad.
That sounded bad, right? Yeah.
So then I was like, okay, so I'm none the wiser. I have to find a different place. I went to the record store. It was sounding much better, but still a bit, I don't know, a bit distorty. And the guy at the record store said that I should probably not be trusting it because the needle hadn't been changed in ages, and lots of people keep listening every day to, when they're choosing the records and whatnot. So finally, I went to the local hi-fi shop, and the man was so nice. He just let me listen to it on this brand new system.
Oh.
Sounded great. Yeah.
Did you put that on social media? That would have been great on social media. I think.
Did not.
No.
I did not. I do have a video of my cats playing around when I had the rubbish one from Amazon. They were just like literally doing like DJ stuff, like scratching the record.
And I'll tell you what, and who doesn't love cats on social media? One of the most popular clips from the whole of this podcast is me and Beth McCarthy talking, and when we bring our sausage dogs up together.
I should have let my cats in.
It's
very
just one of those things, you try, going back to our previous conversation, you try for ages, you try and make the best content possible, you try and be as professional as possible, you try and have really good conversations and whatever. You bring out a sausage dog, people love it. It's just the world we live in now.
I watch a lot of cat videos, so
exactly. There you go. Folks, this has been the wonderful guest today. Jewelia, la. We haven't quite decided how we're saying your name, so I'm going to sing it. Jewelia,
I think there might be an extra syllable in there.
Well, yeah, maybe. But it's been wonderful having you on, Julia.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
And thank you to everybody that's watched. It's been a great conversation. We're looking forward to the album coming out. Remind us what the album's called again.
Yes, Little Wins. Let me show it again.
Oh, yeah, show it.
April.
Show it to everyone.
And I forgot to say.
Where can people order that?
Oh, it's not up yet. Just follow my
Where
socials.
will people be?
It will be on Bandcamp.
Oh,
so just follow my Bandcamp. Album launch show, 21st of April, the Lexington in London.
That's going to be brilliant.
Yeah.
Are you having other artists on? Is it just you?
There's going to be 2 other acts. I'm currently in the process of confirming.
Negotiating.
Yeah.
With okay.
But
cool.
I'll be there for sure.
You will definitely be there. Yeah. As will other people to film it as well. Look, folks, if you're in the area, please do go down and support that would be fantastic. And do you know, check out the music afterwards. Please don't just stream it. Do buy. Have you got merch to go with it as well? Have you got t-shirts or anything
I've got some
else?
t-shirts, but yeah,
T-shirt.
it's mainly just the music on CDs
Just buy the whole lot.
cassette and everything.
Just make her rich, please. Just you
Yes,
know,
please.
just look, it's taken months and months and months. It's cost a lot of money to get it all done. So if you could please spend some money and pay for all of that, that would be marvelous. Best pronunciation ever. There you are. I told you. Thanks, Andy. Is that your Andy?
Lovely voice. Yes.
There you go. Thanks, Andy. This has been my music. I hope you've enjoyed this conversation today. There will be some clips from this going out on the interweb. Please do share those as well if you have enjoyed this. Share it with your friends, your family, your cats, because apparently they will love it. Don't let your cat scratch your records, because
only the test ones.
Only the test ones, because it gets ruined. And please do go and buy the album when it comes out. Until next time, this has been my music. Hope you've enjoyed it. Bye for now.
Thank you so much.